Welcome, friends, to another episode of Flake News. I get to finally record in the silence of daytime. Well, it's a holiday here in Ontario, so there's not much work going on, but I do get the opportunity to, I guess, talk to you. There's a lot to talk to you because I haven't done a video like this for a while because I've been traveling a lot, and that's a good thing. Let's be real. That's a good thing. I was in Minneapolis for 5 days, relaxing. I got back. I just got back from Buffalo. I was doing Battle Lake Frigid, which was awesome, and I want to talk about that. But I want to the whole point of this video was I wanted to record this video before I left for Buffalo on Friday, and I didn't get a chance. But ultimately, I figured, you know what? The point of that video was I wanted to talk a little bit about the whole controversy about somebody's tweet regarding loot boxes, and there was a video that was put out regarding the barrier to entry and the cost per deck and all that other stuff. And the content of that video, or the person who retweeted it, which created a gigantic shitstorm, I couldn't care less about. That's not what the point is. The point is the fact that what came out of that afterwards was precisely what I have discussed in several videos or episodes of the Instant Speed podcast before, discussing tribalism and this and that. And there's this, there was, or maybe there is this persisting discussion or talking point about how the Fab community perceives itself as very welcoming and free of all the drama and all the bullshit that they might see in other games. And then this occurred. And the first thing that happened was a lot of barbs and haymakers being thrown around. And I get that, because within the context of the discussion, having a discourse between the two parties of conflicting views is healthy, as long as it isn't, overly aggressive and insulting and whatever. If you stick to the actual points of the discussion, you could get passionate about it. You can say certain things, and that's perfectly fine. It's all the peripheral stuff that occurred where I started to see tweets about things along the lines of well, fuck that game because that game is stupid. We're the only good game there is, and things of that nature. And the entirety of this video that I wanted to record was going to actually discuss that. But I don't want to waste time on that too much, because there's happier and better, healthier things to discuss. I will say this, however. The Fab community, who has prided itself for so long being inclusive, separate from all the drama and horseshit that occurs in other communities and whatnot, has now sprouted the same kind of venomous tentacles that they themselves were actively talking out against. And the same reasons, the same reasons why people would say the Fab community is better than other communities because of the drama that it was free of, is now the same people or community or part of it. I'm not saying all of it, obviously. It's a small minority, but they do command a voice, saying things like, fuck this game and fuck that game and fuck this game. No, that's bullshit. Don't do that. Don't do that. You want to go around and say the Fab community's awesome and then turn the other cheek and just on the other side, the opposite side of the coin, you're talking about how awful other communities are and how they're dumb and their game sucks and don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Because the same games that you're shitting on, I love it. I love Magic. I play Marvel Snap. Not my favorite game. It's probably not even a game I particularly enjoy. It's just a quick game that I can play while I'm going for a walk on my phone or whatnot. Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. It's embarrassing. So for the same way you pump the tires for Fab being great from a community perspective, don't turn around immediately and then say something along the lines of, just throw it all out the window and just completely renege on all of the same sentiments that you're trying to use to pump up and inflate the grandeur and the righteousness of this community. All communities have disagreements and such, and as this community grows, there's going to be more and more conflicting views and opinions and whatnot. It's how we address those and get through them that matters most. And the way that has occurred, despite the fact that, valid or not, the way you approach it can kind of tear everything down. So, and the reason why this popped into my head is as I was driving to Buffalo, I had on Morning View, which is a album by Incubus from 2001, and on it is a song called Are You In? And there's a lyric in it that says, it's so much better when everyone is in. It's so much easier when everyone is in. Are you in? And that's the kind of that just got me to thinking of like, yeah, man, like, are you in? Like, it's so much better. It's so much easier when you're just in and you're enjoying it. So if there's something you don't like, or if somebody says something that you don't like about the community, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but how does that affect you? And like, if you just, your first reaction for someone saying that they don't like your game or they don't agree with your game or your hobby is to immediately deflect it and say, no, fuck you, your shit is wrong. That doesn't wash away their opinion. You're just doubling down on the negativity and that kind of negative sentiment. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. So despite the fact of the whoever it is that is the patient zero of this particular controversy or whatnot, they're entitled to their opinion, whether you agree with it or not. They're entitled to however they want to deal with the discourse of blocking 8.7 billion people, across all social media. Who cares? That's up to them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because the same shit that you hate, other people adore. And the same stuff that they hate, you're all in on. How does that change how you approach it? Your enjoyment of something is not dependent on other people's assessment of it. So just walk on from it and stop making this community look bad by tearing other people down. Now, let's move on to a positive thing, which is Battle Lake Frigid, which occurred in Buffalo, and I got to work with some awesome people there. Of course, WNY Gaming, Mana Bar, they were the ones who put this all together. Realm Gaming was involved. There was a lot of stuff going on there. I got to cast 18 consecutive rounds of Classic Constructed. 18! I was broadcasting for approximately 21 hours in 2 days. So for all you guys who think that this is an easy job, it's not. But it's an enjoyable job. And I have to give incredible amounts of props to the person who was alongside me, ironically, who shares a similar last name to me, Tanner DeMarco, who was there, and this was their first, essentially, kick at the can of trying to cast, and they were thrown directly in the fire because they didn't get any breaks, and they were all in on it. And they performed admirably because it wasn't just about casting matches adequately. It was about the endurance and putting up with me. For fuck's sake, it's not easy to sit across from me or next to me and cast matches for 1 round, let alone 18 rounds. 18 rounds. Ask DM Armada, because you know that he's sprouting gray hairs purely off the back that he has to work with me so regularly. That said, it was a great experience, and there's one thing that I wanted to pull away from it, which was a particular player. Now, in between rounds, whenever I had an opportunity, especially between the Swiss rounds and the top 8, there was a little bit of a break. So what I like to do is I like to completely separate myself from Flesh and Blood for just a hot moment so that I can just detach and clear my mind. It's kind of like deleting your browser history, not for the same reasons. Naughty. But what I did was I basically, at WNY Gaming, they also have like some physical activities you could do, and they had a stack of basketballs and stuff. So I took a basketball, I was dribbling it around inside the area, and there's like a big wall, and I was just literally throwing free throws against a wall and catching it because I just wanted to detach, relax, and not use my voice and not whatever. And a wonderful human being by the name of Katie Kozlowski came up to me. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't want to bother you, but I really appreciate, your content and everything." And that always means so much to me. Trust me, I cannot reiterate how thankless this stuff can be sometimes. And hearing these words is like jet fuel directly into my soul. And we got to talking a bit, and it was the sweetest thing because her husband was in the tournament as well, but she top 8'd, which is incredible. But beyond that, she had mentioned that I don't want to like put words in her mouth or whatever, But to paraphrase, she either got heavier into Fab or learned to appreciate it a lot more because she watched DM Armada and I casting, I believe her husband's, a match her husband was playing in at an event that we were doing. And she said that it was so entertaining and engaging that she really got into the game after that. And I thanked her, so much and encouraged her to keep going and whatnot. But when she got back to whatever, and I was just left there holding a basketball like a doofus, and I almost started like tearing up because it's incredible. And I don't get to see it because here I am in Toronto in my apartment by myself, miles and miles and miles away from my friends. And I don't know what the reach is. I don't know who's listening or watching this. It's not apparent. Like I don't look at metrics there or numbers or views or clicks. I try to avoid that because it's incredibly damaging to your psyche and your mental health when you get a report card and you measure your worth in numbers. That's not good for you. So I don't necessarily know who listens, who watches, who's engaged, who's interested in the nonsense that comes out of my mouth. But this weekend and what she said really drove it home that, hey, you're doing good things and we appreciate you. And the fact that myself and Steven could have had an impact on her interest in the game really meant a lot to me because that's all I want is to improve the enjoyment that people have around this game that has done so much for me. I have done my best, and like as hard as I work at this, I will never feel like I've given back more than I've taken from this game. And that's a true sentiment, it's a true story. I put my heart and soul into this, but the game has given me my heart and soul. So it's hearing these kinds of things really stuck with me. It rejuvenated me. I drove home that night feeling incredible. Despite the traffic, I got home, I relaxed, I ate, I went to bed, and I woke up this morning saying, damn, all I want to do is just keep moving, keep chugging along. And I will, because I'm going to be in Pittsburgh this weekend for the Realm Brawl in Pittsburgh with Green Tree Sports. I haven't been to Pittsburgh, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and that's it. So I do appreciate you guys checking this out. Leave a comment. What was your thoughts on Oldham leaving LL? What are your favorite memories? Who brought you into this game? How do you spread positivity? All these kinds of things. Let me know. It's great to have you. And don't forget, this week on Instant Speed Podcast, we're going to have Tarek Patel talking about LL, Oldham, and a whole bunch of other nonsense. So I love you all very much. Be kind to one another. And don't forget, you're not losing if you're learning. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.